As I've said, the ego is truly just a set of programs, a set of programmed reactions and responses. In a sense, it is an algorithm, an artificial intelligence algorithm, programmed by us, with our beliefs, our ideas, all the data we've pulled in, all the perceptions and experience, and one programmed perspective leads to another layer being added on through experience in what we call memory. And all of these programs together give the illusion of intelligence, of a person being there. It is literally no difference than talking to Siri. And for most people, when they are communicating with each other, this is what they are communicating with. This is precisely why someone can say, "But I do love you," while continuously treating the person unloving, hateful, angry, jealous, envious, mean. This is exactly why. Because you are communicating with an artificial intelligence program which has the directive to simulate concern, love, care, while never actually experiencing it. And this is quite vital to understand. I caught my finger in a well or something. If we look down at the core of this algorithm, at the very base of its programming, we find a core defensive mechanism, a core program built on survival, fear, initiated and designed from the perspectives that we had as a child looking out at the world, especially looking out at an insane world, at an abusive world, at a world filled with madness, greed, and despair. A world so out of tune with our heart and with our true self that we needed to create a false self program to deal with it. So this perspective that we were looking out at the world is the perspective of being incredibly small in a giant universe filled with hostile forces. It is the perspective of not understanding, the perspective of confusion, the perspective of powerlessness, the perspective of being at the mercy of others who are clearly not trustworthy. Because don't think that the heart, don't think that the soul self couldn't feel the deceptive and negative vibrations of the world all around it that were imprinting upon it. And at the core of this defensive program is something some people call the censor. Some spiritual communities call it the dweller at the threshold, or the shadow self. Some people call it the dark seed. This thing, this mechanism, exists and transcends one life. It is the core survival mechanism of the ego and soul fragment which has passed from life to life to life, fearing to actually let go of control, fearing to die, fearing to be obliterated, fearing that there's something wrong with it, fearing that it's actually separate from everyone else and God. Fearing. And this censor, this shadow, is the core shield which defends against the deepest, most vulnerable traumas. It is the place where it is built, in fact, from the deepest traumas. In fact, the primal trauma, the primal cause, or the original sin, as you call it, of the doubt that we are actually part of everything, doubt itself, the thought of doubt, the belief in separation, the belief that we did something as we came into physicality to cause this, to cause our separation, to cause these feelings inside of us. Right. So this, and underneath this is the inner child, the true self, the heart, the open heart, the most vulnerable part. And it is this censor which which will do anything. And this is what's important to understand. This dweller at the threshold, this dark seed, will do anything. The shadow will do anything to mobilize defenses against that core, that innocent heart being exposed. And in fact, every other defensive part of the egoic structure is built on this prime directive of defending that inner heart, that inner soul, that inner light, that inner truth, that inner being. And so this is what we must get to, and this is what we must pass. But we must understand this is not a small thing. So to the newly awakened, this is why we need a daily meditative practice. This is why we need to return to silence over and over and over and over. This is why we need to continually put down egoic thoughts and defenses, continually reject them, continuously not believe them, continuously let them go, release them, not identify with them. This is why we need to continually release any negative emotions that come up as we pull back these layers and keep delving to the core, because you have all the power of this defensive mechanism and every bit of energy you've given it in this life and every other life. And not only that, you have the archetypal, the larger collective shadow and energy that has been given to these mechanisms and artificial intelligence programs, all driving against you awakening and being free and exposing that inner heart and that inner innocence. So one must be vigilant. Otherwise, confusion will be the result. Otherwise, one will be taken off track. So good luck to all of you. Love and light to all.